Yo, what is up everyone? I'm back again with another review. Today I'll be reviewing the Scyrox V6. Now first things I want to show you guys is what's inside the box. So over here on the right side you have your standard Scyrox box, which comes in blue if you bought the blue version. So you just pull this out and then that's how it opens up. As you can see, that's where the mouse goes. So I think it's very cool for an unboxing of a mouse. And next you have your USB Type-C cable, which also comes in blue. You also have a manual over here, as well as some extra PTFE skates, and your 8K dongle, which also comes in blue. Now moving on to the build quality. The build quality on my copy of the V6 is actually very good and very solid. I have yet to experience any signs of flexing, creaking, and even rattling inside the mouse. Side buttons, everything is good, and even for the main buttons, no wobbling or anything, no switch grinding. And just overall very good build quality from Scyrox over here on the V6. As for the shape of the V6, I really enjoyed the shape of this mouse. In hand it feels really nice and comfortable, and that's due to the hump being slightly higher compared to other smaller / medium-sized mouse. I believe the hump is around 40 millimeters high, and because of that I'm able to place the top part of my palm over here on this area on top of the mouse quite nice and comfortable. And I also really like mice where the sides are tapered inwards. As you can see for the V6, it's also tapered inwards. But one thing that I'm not too big of a fan of for the V6's sides is how flared out the front is. It actually makes it quite bigger for my ring finger, so sometimes I do have to slide down my ring finger towards the middle part of the mouse just to make it comfortable in hand. But overall I still really do like the shape of the V6, and I also like the comfort groups for the mouse 1 and mouse 2. Even though it's not as aggressive as some other mice, I still really enjoy how it feels in hand, and overall just a very good shaped mouse, and I really enjoyed it. Now looking into Elo Shapes over here, we have the Scyrox V6 as well as the HTS Plus from G-Wolves. So the only difference would be that the V6 is slightly longer than the HTS Plus, as well as the height on the mouse 1 and mouse 2 buttons being slightly lower than the HTS Plus. But as for the width and the height, they're both very similar to one another. The only difference as well is that the weight is slightly lighter on the V6 compared to the HTS Plus. Another thing to note is the sensor position on both of these mice. The V6's sensor is slightly lower compared to the HTS Plus, so if you're transitioning from the HTS Plus over to the V6, you might want to consider checking out the placement of the sensor position, since it can somewhat affect how you perform in game. Even though it's slightly lower than the HTS Plus, it may or may not affect your gameplay, so just be aware of that if you're planning on transitioning to the V6. Now as for the sensor on the HTS Plus 8K is using the PAW3295 sensor, which is still very good, and the V6 is using the PAW3950 sensor, which is slightly better. But like I said, the 3095 is still a very good sensor even to this day, and overall there isn't really that much of a difference between the two. Well, I guess there's also the price, being that the V6 is much more cheaper than the HTS Plus. So if you are looking for a cheaper alternative to the HTS Plus, then by all means definitely try and buy yourselves a Scyrox V6. Now looking at the bottom layout of the Scyrox V6, over here you have your power button, you have your sensor as well as your sensor ring over here, as well as the DPI button, and over here you have your 2 corner skates as well as your full-size skates. You can also replace these corner skates with the full-size skate, or you can also replace this bottom skate over here for corner skates. Now I've heard some people say that the skates on the V6 aren't as good as the skates on the original Scyrox V8, and I can completely agree with that. The skates on the V6 are slightly worse, but they're not bad. I think that the glide still feels pretty nice and smooth, and it doesn't feel scratchy or anything. In my opinion, you could always buy aftermarket skates if you really want to replace the skates, but for me, the skates on the V6 are still pretty decent in my opinion. and overall, they're not as bad as some people would suggest that they are. As for the coating on the V6, the coating on this is really good. It's this nice dry and rubberized coating, similar to some of the other rubberized coating that I've tried. In hand, it feels really nice and grippy. Once your hands get slightly warm and moist, it definitely feels much grippier compared to it being dry. And overall, I really like the coating on this, and just a very good coating from Scyrox.
Great for me. More. Precision kill. Chill out. Chill out. Get out of my way. Dead surrounded. Don't wait. They have a head start, but you're tougher than they are. You're.
Now, should you buy the Scyrox V6? Now, in terms of price and performance, it very much excels in that category very well. And as for the shape, like I said earlier, it feels really nice and comfortable in hand. Even for people with larger hands like mine, it still feels really nice and comfortable. The coating is also very good and very nice and grippy. And the skates are still not as bad as some people would say. And I think that you should still pretty much try it out, and you could always buy aftermarket skates like I said earlier. And if you don't really like the Scyrox V6's shape, you can also try out the V8, which is its older brother, though that mouse is more towards the claw grip side of things. But overall, I can highly recommend checking out Scyrox as a brand. They make really good products, really good mice, and they pretty much deserve all the praise that they can get for the price and performance that they give to the mouse community. Anyways, that's it for my review of the Scyrox V6. Now, if you guys plan on buying the V6, I'll make sure to leave a link down in the description below to where you can get this mouse, as well as links to my affiliates and discount codes for other brands. Now, if you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps a lot with the channel and for me to be able to make more videos like this for you guys. Help me reach 500 subs by the end of 25, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.